Hi everyone, my name is Glafira Carr, and today for my iConnect Lightning presentation, I'm going to be talking about The Absinthe Drinker by Arthur Symons, and that's on page 38 of our Penguin anthology. I first picked this poem because we were talking in class about the importance of bizarre, artificial, perverse, and exotic experiences in the definition of decadence. And absinthe is known as being an alcohol that can have very weird effects on those who drink it, so I picked this poem for my close reading. In class, we were talking about spleen and ennui that was displayed in the poem To the Reader by Baudelaire, and how it's very prevalent in decadent literature. And spleen and ennui means that boredom or lack of will that was very popular at the time, especially in the upper class. And I saw this theme in the very first line of the poem when it says, "Gently I wave the visible world away." So as he's starting to drink the absinthe, he's waving away the world that he's used to. And also when it says, "Sands of the hourglass that I count not fall serenely, scarce I feel your soft caress rocked on this dreamy and indifferent tide." So since he's not counting the time that's passing by and he's being rocked on an indifferent tide, I took that as a good explanation of the ennui that's displayed in decadent literature. Another important theme that was discussed in class was the idea of self-consciousness, and I found it in this poem in the line that says, "I am at peace with God and man." And since he's having a very foggy experience from the absinthe and hearing far off voices, I figured out he was able to take the time to reflect inward on himself and realize that he is at peace with God and man. One thing that I did want to point out was that now that he's drinking the absinthe, he's at peace, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's always at peace with God or men around him. And maybe when he gets sober again, he won't be at peace again. And going along once more with the bizarre experience theme, there's a lot of bizarre experiences in this poem. In the second line, it says, "Far off I hear a roar, afar yet near. Far off and strange, a voice is in my ear." And it sounds like it's very far away, and it actually turns out to be the man that he's talking to next to him. And he says that their voices fall strangely like a dream across the day. So it really reiterates that whole bizarre experience and that far off feeling of foggy drunkenness that's allowing him to have the self-reflection and that self-consciousness that we discussed before. I also realized that it really enforces Symons' own stated ideal of decadence that was in his Decadent Movement in Literature article we had to read, where Symons says, "The ideal of decadence is to be a disembodied voice, yet a voice of a human soul." And that far-off, strange-sounding voice really embodies that. I tried my best to figure out what the poem was trying to argue in general, and one of the important lines that jumped out at me was, "The world is very fair. The hours are all linked in a dance of mere forgetfulness." But the narrator doesn't ever give a sense that that's something he doesn't want. So I think the general argument of the poem is that he is stressing it's important to take time sometimes to let go of all of your worries and be in that kind of sense that you don't have to worry about time or any of the other worries of your life, business, other important engagements. And lastly, I forgot to mention that one of the examples of the bizarre experience is that even the men and women passing on their way while he's drinking look new as the world to lovers' eyes. So that also enforces the fact he's having a very bizarre experience, that something as normal as people walking down the street look very weird to him, like he's never seen them before. So I really thought that this poem embodies many of the themes that we discussed in class, and it also brings up a new argument that maybe taking the time to experience just letting go of all of your worries is another important thing to do in the decadent lifestyle. Thanks.